So in addition to establishing the mouth width, which we've done here with this orange line, and remember that these corners are projected back onto the face. You know, the dental arcade curves around here, and so does the face. So you can imagine that viewed from the front, the corner of the mouth will appear at this point, but it's actually going to be back here considerable distance, taking into account these tissue depth markers. So it's going to be somewhere like this. And this sort of sits in accordance with kind of old rules of thumb that people have used for doing this in the past, where they would find the canine and first premolar and project a line out, sort of 45-degree angle, to find the corner of the mouth. And this kind of gives similar results. We also have to figure out lip thickness, and that's the vertical height of the lips from this position here, which is where the lips meet. And we calculate this based on some regression equations calculated by Wilkinson and Motani in 2003 in this paper here. And they found that, at least they had a pretty small sample, but for white Europeans, they said they found this, and that this may or may not apply to what you're working on, but here I can apply it in this case. So the upper lip thickness we're going to measure in millimeters is this measurement x, so that millimeter measurement times 0.6 plus 4, plus 0.4, and then the lower lip thickness, we're going to make the same measurement of the lower teeth height this time, rather than the upper teeth height, times 0.4 plus 5.5. So let's do that. So we'll start with the upper teeth, and what we're measuring is the distance between the incisal edge and the dentin enamel border, or the enamel cementum border. Now, it may be very difficult to see, but we'll just have to take our best bet. You can see that things are not good here, but this change of angle here in the tooth gives some sort of indication of where it will be. At any rate, we'll try. So I will make my skull alive so I can stick the measure tool to it. So I'm going to create a measure tool, and I'll choose a spot like this up to somewhere like this. That gives us a measure of 10 millimeters, 11 millimeters essentially. I think I went a little bit low here, so we'll just call this 10 millimeters. And let's do the measurement. So we need a calculator. So we have 10 times 0.6 equals, of course, 6. There it is there. Plus 0.4, which obviously is 6.4. And so that's the thickness of the upper lip. So we can, probably the easiest thing to do is just to create a new cube. Grab that cube, go into move mode, turn off make live for the skull, and move this cube out here. And we will scale it down this way just to make a little measuring tool. But the y-axis, so that's the axis, the green one going up and down here, we want to type that value in 0.64. Remember, my is in centimeters. We're doing our measurements in millimeters. So this will be our upper lip thickness. It's going to start here where these meet, where the lips meet here. And then we'll do the same thing for the lower lip thickness. This time we will select the mandible, make it live, and use our measure tool, which is still active here, and we'll do the same thing. So incisal edge down to somewhere like this, 0.92. Of course I can't see very well where that border is, but I'm estimating a little bit, so 0.92, so 9.2 millimeters. So let's look at that measurement. Come over here. So we have lower lip thickness is that measurement times 0.4. Let's get our calculator out. What was the measurement? 9.2, so 9.2 times 0.4 is equal to this plus 5.5. So the lower lip is generally thicker than the upper lip. So this is 9.18, which is in line with the findings that they were getting here too. Lower lip, upper lip 6.1, lower lip 9.0. Ours are just a little bit thicker, maybe due to measurement error, hard to say. So let's just duplicate this. Turn off make live and just move this down and give it the measurement in Y of 0.918, which I believe is what it was. Yep. And we'll just move this down to the meeting edge here. Let's give these that same color. So assign existing material. You should have one in here like this. So that gives us an idea of the lip thickness, upper and lower. There's a good image here to show this. So here are the teeth here, and you can see the meeting angle, or the meeting line of the oral fissures just above the incisal edge. And then the thickness is the dimension in the vertical. This type of thickness, the depth of the tissue, is defined by our tissue depth markers at supradentally and subspinally and midfiltrum and so on. But you can see that the lip thickness is this point here, stomion, which is the middle of the lips at the oral fissure, going up in this direction and down in this direction. So we'll use those to guide our drawings so we can get an idea of what the mouth is going to look like. Now remember, all of this is projected back onto the arch, like the curve of the face here that follows the dental arcade and these tissue depth markers. So we have most of the things we need to establish the different features now. And our next goal will be to render this out, take it into Photoshop, and draw up some of these details.